welcome back. Congratulations, Jeff, on
Yeah,
the
congratulations, Jeff.
raffle
Chris was
win.
so excited that he was going to win.
It
'cause
was
he
my
the
only one
winner,
time I've ever
and then
done
you
it,
entered.
and you just took
ruined
it from me.
Ruined it. You ruined it,
Listen,
Jeff.
the odds, well, no, I can't say the odds were against you. They were dead even. Okay, anyway, so Jeff, go ahead and message Solo in the Discord to get your winnings. I'll give it to you, Chris. Okay, so welcome back. We are now with our guests. I don't know. I guess is it Linsay beside me? I can't tell. So we'll do Linsay first, ladies first. So we'll go ahead and do the introductions. Linsay first, and then Chris.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Linsay. I play Mata, the Gnome Rogue, in Legends of Shalgal. And I play Irwin in Adventures in Middle Earth. And then I host the rollout every Wednesday. Do you need to know more about me? What else?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What are your socials? Did you say your socials?
Oh, yeah. So if you spell my name right, you can find me at Linsay Rousseau on all my socials. Just don't put a D in there. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those places. Yeah. And of course, Discord if you're in our Discord chat.
Awesome. Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Sizemore. I DM for Lore Master LM for Adventures in Middle Earth every other Sunday on the Fable 42 network. And I have a pretzel in my hand. I'll eat it later. My daughter gave it to me. And I play Frizz and Frizz Battletop in the Legends of Shao Ghul on Mondays. The old cranky guy cranky gnome. That's
Perfect.
my claim to fame.
I love it. Yeah, no, this is a super professional show. You can't eat the pretzel. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I don't care. Okay, so cool. So let's go ahead and get started. We got a couple questions that are sort of outside of, I want to keep this kind of, so I know that people have been playing obviously a lot of different characters and stuff, but what we do on the show really is try to get two people from the same show and kind of keep that as much as we can sort of show focused. But there are a couple questions that are sort of outliers, so I do want to get to those first. In fact, we'll just start right out of the gate with one that April just posed because I think it's a pretty fun one. So this is actually a question to both of you guys. Linsay, you can take it first.
Sure.
So what is your favorite character that you've played on Fable 42 so far?
Ooh. I mean, there's been quite a few.
Which child is your favorite?
I know, right? That's the thing, because I have so many amazing backstories for some of these characters. I really am loving Mata. I really am. And I think when her full backstory comes out, hopefully people are going to really love that too. Rana will always have a soft spot in my heart, though. She was the first character I played on this network, and I loved her so much. I loved that she started a dinosaur revolution and she tried to take down a silver dragon on her own. Like, you know, she'll be back. I have faith that Rana will be back. She's essentially immortal, but yeah, no, but it is like choosing your children. But I'm going to have to go with Rana from Origins of Ukador.
Solid. Chris?
First, I just want to say that I'm taking note that you didn't say Irwin from the Adventures in Middle Earth.
To choose my babies.
I just keep that in mind for the next session.
Chris,
you know, like
you love any of your children more than which children do you love? You have kids.
That is true.
Stuff.
You put me in a weird position.
It's not.
But
it's
I do
not.
have a favorite.
You just pick one, guys. You just pick one.
Irwin is
tough when they're in the same room.
Character of all time, and she's not going to kill the entire party and end up taking over for Radagast. That's not going to happen at all.
No, definitely not. For me, I haven't played that many characters, but thank you. I will hold on to that. She's my favorite character for sure. She keeps me busy. But other than that, I have let's see, I had Hickfy in the Origins of Ukador. That he didn't last long. And I had the Mythical Melee Emma. And Oscar.
Emma.
So I only play old people. That's
Oscar's
true.
Pretty sweet. That's true, you do, isn't it?
I just play old people. And I think out of my favorite, between the three, Hickfy has always been that type of character that I enjoy playing the most, at least in general, because that's a very familiar voice that I like to do, and it's kind of like Emma but a little lower pitch, and it's just like, I'm just an old man, you know. It's just really fun to be that silly, goofy old man who doesn't really know what is going on around him and is just oblivious to people's quirks, and he has his own little wacky quirk anyways. Yeah, it's fun to do that.
Cool. All right, so this is still about sort of characters. This one's for Lindsay. Um, okay, so you have a propensity to play martial or melee style characters. Is there a specific reason for this, or is it just simply a preference?
The reason is I have a shit memory and spells just stress me out. I like you guys have seen me play. I can't remember people's names. Like I'm
Yeah, I'm
really
bad
good
with
at a lot
yeah.
of other things like, big elaborate backstories, like connecting all these ideas, but like when it comes to the minutia of like someone's name or knowing all the spells, I'm just like, I mean, yes, D&D Beyond I can click on it, but some of you guys who play spellcasters, I'm just like April and Renee, I'm just like, ah. So it's kind of it started out with D&D, like I got into it like, ooh, I want to play things that hit things.
Yeah, right.
And then it just kind of, it's like I became comfortable with Rangers. I became comfortable with Rogues, and Ranger was my first class.
Mm-hmm.
And Ranger has some spells to it, but man, when we first did Wizards, I was just like,
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. So if you
I'm
could
gonna
pick,
die.
obviously with Wizard, you kind of have to be a wizard. But if you
Right.
could pick after playing, and seeing many people play spellcasters, like if you had the choice and the desire to play a spellcaster, do you have
Oh,
one that you would want to
Druid.
play? Druid?
Druid
Druid
for
seems so
sure.
difficult. I'm so
Yeah.
intimidated by
Well,
Druid.
I am in the process of rolling up a warlock for a new
Hmm.
campaign because I told the DM I was like, I never play spellcaster. He's like, you have to play a spellcaster. He's like, nope, nope. And I was like, okay, I'll
Yeah,
roll
and
up.
Warlock's a good introduction to that too. Not
Yeah,
not a
so I'm
lot of
gonna
spell
roll up a
slots
warlock. But
and
Druid's just, after watching GW play, and I guess, because my personality, I was drawn to Rangers because I was like, oh,
right.
like the earthy hippie, and Druids are
Hmm.
kind of still like the earthy hippie types. But
Yep.
the fact that Warlocks, like, there's a genie option now. Thank you, Fashion.
Yeah, right.
Like, who doesn't want to be a genie?
Hey, speaking of warlocks, Ronan, you want to talk about your debut?
Shut up. My debut was amazing. I'd love to play that Warlock again, if I could last longer than, one round or whatever. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. I don't know when or where, but the mullet will return. Whatever. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so this next question is for Chris. Let me see. Oh, again, sort of outside of Shotgull. But how much of the DM experience do you bring to your characters and more generally to the table? Or I guess another way of asking is how much do you try to avoid that sort of thing?
In terms of being a player, trying to
Yeah, trying to transition to a player from it being a DM.
I mean, when I'm stepping into the character, it allows me to being a player coming in is a huge relief. I don't have to prep anything. I come in, I just wait for the story.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm just going.
I'm here to make the chaos.
I just show up.
Yeah.
I just show up and ruin everybody's lives. No, there's parts of me that as a DM I can't ever get rid of, that I think to the side, and I try to get focus on just playing. And there's other parts of me that's like, okay, I need to do this as a player to be a good player. I would say there's never ever moments of leaving the DMing seat as a player for me. You always have that in you, and it's just something that you're constantly fighting back, I suppose.
Yeah, I just wonder how much like meta, like you're in your own head, like, all right,
in
let me see
terms
what the
of
AC, do I remember what the AC of that thing is, or is there something similar to that? You know what I mean? Like
I'm not a big rules lawyer guy. I don't have a huge memory of every monster's stats or anything, and there's a lot of times when I've homebrewed things, so it doesn't necessarily really mean anything. I know that when I'm playing in these other games, it's a homebrew game a lot of times, and so if they're saying I'm throwing out this monster, I can't just assume that it's going to be that monster's stats specifically. So I don't think there's any boon in terms of meta knowledge.
Right.
That it's mostly just role play stuff and just storytelling.
That should, I mean, that's to me, I think that would be. I have always found, I mean, I've talked about this a couple of times, but I've always found it more enjoyable from my side to sort of do it, just because from a player standpoint, because I only had to focus on one aspect of character development, that sort of thing. I'm not trying to micromanage 100 different NPCs and all that sort of
Yes.
stuff. I'm constantly impressed by DMs that do it. It's just not my personal cup of tea. So my personal cup of carrot tea. Okay, cool. Yeah. So all right. Neat. I don't do transitions here, so sorry. Linsay, next question. Oh, okay. So now we'll get into some of the Chagall stuff. So this is technically for Mata. So it feels as almost everything that Mata does is some sort of, as part of some sort of scheme that she seems to be working on. Do you, Linsay, have a plan, or are you just sort of putting out chaos feelers and seeing what sticks?
Oh, Diane knows I have a plan. Yeah, when Diane sent me the world, her world lore, I was reading through it and I instantly had an idea for what I wanted this character to be. And I kept sending, I was like, can you send me more? Can you send me more? Can you send me about this group? Can you send me about this person? And blah, blah, blah. And I built up this very elaborate backstory. So yes, there are a lot of layers there that are being peeled off. Obviously, I'm like Dan's throwing stuff in the game that, I couldn't have planned in advance.
Sure.
But she very much has a secondary mission. She has things that she is trying to do that have been thought up from the beginning. And I'm really excited to see how that's all going to come out. Because we have a really great group, and all of us, I love the fact that everyone in our group is kind of, has some of their own shadows, haha, pun intended, that they're dealing with. And I think that they'll be okay, but we'll see. But yeah, no, that's the reason I got into D&D is I love the role-playing aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously for like one shots, it's like, cool, I'll just roll a character and there it goes. But like for persistent campaigns, and especially with homebrew, I'm like, please tell me your world, because I want to find a way to fit that character in and find little nuggets. It's like, oh, DM, you came up with this amazing thing. Cool, can I do this? And so, yeah, so Mata's definitely scheming, but I'm interested to see what people think she's scheming about, because it might not be the things.
I'm interested. I want to know what you're scheming about as
we're still,
and as Frizz.
Yeah, and we're still like I've said this on the other Chagall. I mean, we're just so early. You know what I mean? Like it's all very like surface level stuff right now. So it feels like everything's a tease.
I intend to reveal even the few things that I did to Frizz.
Hold it out of you.
But he hit a trigger, and so some of that came out a little earlier than maybe it would have,
Sure.
But yeah,
and you got that gnome sort of bond thing there. So it
exactly.
made sense. It felt organic still. So
right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So I guess a little bit about Frizz's background now. So does Frizz create things specifically designed to be used in combat, or is he just good at finding ways to utilize the stuff he's already created?
He creates things that inspire him, as a good inventor would have. Just the daily toil of the world around him, uses that as inspiration. Like, oh, I should build something to help out with this, and so that's how it comes about usually.
Did he have sort of his set tricks like the stuff used for defense and stuff like that? Does that come from a certain place that he's had to do, or did he think of all this stuff sort of on the fly like that?
Some of those were on the fly, some of that stuff. So in terms of what's been presented on the show specifically, I don't think the audience has access to that part of the sheet on the character sheet, but I have written in several different things for spells, just for flavor and whatnot. And then I have a couple other things that I've written in to use for the game. In session 0, I made up something on the fly, and then that became like a canon thing. But I've been trying to keep myself from improvising and throwing like something out of nowhere for Diane to do, like, let me come up and with stats on that and make it legitimate. So I tried to pre-plan my inventions as best as I can. So he does have some in terms of non-combat related stuff that are in store in-house, I guess. Yeah.
My brain hurts watching you work, Sizemore. I'm just like,
it literally feels like you're making, obviously you're making it up.
I know,
but it feels like you're literally
I'm just
making
like,
it. Like,
how did he do that?
Yeah,
What?
it's super impressive.
Oh, it sounded like you're about to say it's cringy. Like, ew, it
No,
hurts.
no,
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 I'm
no,
like
no.
having a hard
literally
time
like
going.
every
No, no,
time
no,
you,
quite the
I'm like,
opposite.
what invention is he going to
No.
come up with now? How did
Now
he come
that
up
puts
with
me
that?
on the spot. Now I have to. I feel
Yeah,
like I
no,
have
the
to
bar's
come
insane.
up with
Make something
something. The
up
bar
right
is
now.
too high.
Yeah, you're welcome for that. No, it really is. Like every time you do it, I'm like,
Look in a
"God,
mirror,
that's
go."
that's really great because you do a really good job at like at the very end of your description saying it. I'm like, oh, it's that spell. You know what I mean? Like you went
Yeah.
through that. Whole, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. Like the
It is kind of fun
heroism,
keeping everybody
the
in the
heroism
loop.
was yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
heroism was the other one. Yeah,
yeah, that was like I was like, what is it? Is she gonna fly? What's going on?
yeah, yeah. Got the
So-
little jetpack on.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, so this goes back to Matcha's sort of scheming, I think. So what's and obviously a lot of these questions, because we're so early in the campaign, are probably going to be spoilers. So just try to dodge them the best you can. But what is Mata's in game as being sort of Daffodil's manager? Does she actually see talent in there, or is it more of a profit thing, or what's her motivation there?
Spoilers in that. So many spoilers there. I will say Mata really does. She really likes Daffodil. She really does, but everything she does for a reason. I mean, she's obviously running a successful store. She's got her, she's very well connected, selling stuff to the nobles. Like she didn't need to do this, but her being Mata's manager has the potential to give her access to places that she might not otherwise have gotten access to. You can only walk up to so many people and sell them items, but it's like, oh, all of a sudden she's got this person in her life who could perform at various venues.
Sure.
And so Daffodil's kind of a way for her to get into places. I'm not going to say what that means, but she
Right.
really does. And that's the thing is like, she is scheming, but she really does care about this party. Like she really has found community and family here, and she really will protect Daffodil. Like,
Right.
when they tried to, when they were insulting her back when we were in, at that big party, and Mata was like, excuse me, no, stop it. But yeah. So, and that's what I think is going to be interesting, is because it's like, she does have ulterior motives, but she really does care about these people. And so it's one of those things like, when you have a friend and then you find out like, were you really my friend, or have you just been
Yeah,
using
right.
me? And it's like, no, I'm really your friend.
So it may
But
have
I've
not
also been using
it
you.
may have not necessarily started out as that, but then it's sort of grown into that. I mean, you saw an opportunity there, and now it's time has passed, and things
Yeah,
have changed.
exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I actually kind of, I mean, not that I've ever seen it this way before, but that is exactly how I would sort of describe Rook and Thagan. So it is he saw an opportunity and then learned, oh, I can rely on you also. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just helps.
exactly. Well, and it is like, we are kind of the party of misfit toys,
It
so
is.
it's like we find things in each other. It's
I've said this every week. It is the most eccentric group of D&D
Eccentric,
players
yeah.
I've ever seen in my entire life. It is.
I love
just
it, though.
Nuts. It's insanity. So, and it is. That's what I think. That's the most charming characteristic of the party, and why I like to keep watching. Just to see the hijinks and whatever else the hell you guys are gonna do.
Fun holes. You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
You're welcome.
Yeah, forever,
Yeah.
forever canon.
Forever.
In every show.
Every show now.
Okay, cool. All right, Chris, you mentioned this a little bit ago with Frizz's age. So because of his sort of curmudgeonly self and his age, does he view himself as a sort of father figure amongst the group or caretaker amongst the group?
He definitely within Rex.
Sure.
Because that kind of I think it is come from Rex now, and now it is for the full entire group. I see. Just so you're aware, she's here, like literally beside me. So if you see my head go down, like, oh yeah, it's right there. Yeah, here you go. I see.
So father figure.
Yeah,
Right?
father figure.
Yeah, I wonder where that came from.
I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely a father figure for the entire group, and he does feel like he needs to keep people in check as they all the wildness goes this way, this way, this way. He's got like a leash on him. Like, no, come on.
Well, that was
Bring
actually
it
another
back.
question, but I'll go ahead and skip to it now. So he's very adamant about keeping the party together. Does this stem from that sort of personality type, or is this like something that's happened previously that he doesn't want everybody leaving, or
Without dipping into his backstory too much, there is a reason why he is so fixed on gluing everyone together to make them a whole.
right?
Yeah, I don't want to spill anything. No spilling the beans. You just have to watch the show and how it organically
Yeah,
unfolds.
sure.
I
mean, I will say this is the show of breaking news. I'm just saying every week, but it's cool. Okay, and probably another question that Mata won't answer because this is probably too deep, but I had to ask. So you've mentioned it a couple times in the early episodes, and you may have mentioned it since, but I don't really remember it coming up here recently. So what is Mata's end game with access to a teleportation circle, or why is she so fixated on that?
So in order to get to certain part, and Diane can obviously probably correct me, in order to get to certain parts of the region, specifically like where the king is and the royalty, you can either like take the airship and go through customs essentially,
Sure.
or you are able to teleport directly to the teleportation circles there. And so when she learned that that was a way to be able to get back to like where the king was, that's why she was very interested in procuring a teleportation circle. And of course she'd have to find Frizz or someone to like hack it for, because I'm sure there's
Right.
magic protocols that prevent you from like teleporting right
walking
into the
in.
king's chamber. But
Sure.
to find a way to get back without having, because obviously getting on a airship, it's like you're very visible, even if you're trying, even if you're a stealthy little gnome, it's like, well, I guess I could
Right.
sneak on the airship and then try. But she was just like, ooh, direct access.
Yeah, right. So again, part of her larger picture scheme.
Yeah, it's very much part of her. It's very much part of her larger mission that she has. Yes.
Okay, cool. I have a question for that later too. Okay, so Chris, this may have changed too, but this was I don't know, we're talking probably episode 2-ish, 3-ish. At one point Frizz said that some of the party were his friends, and I was curious to know at that time who he had not considered his friend and why, and has that changed since then? Do you remember?
Oh,
you asked the hard questions.
yeah. This is pulling back a couple episodes. Okay,
Chris is like, I
yeah.
don't remember saying that. I never said that.
I
he
do remember saying that.
specifically,
Actually,
yeah,
I did
because he said
specifically say
some, and
that.
then he goes
Dang,
back
he
and
really
goes,
did.
some of my friends, some of them are friends.
Yeah, I think at the time, Frizz had reservations about the party because they're still kind of fresh off the boat and still learning
Literally.
who they are. And at the time, I think he wasn't friends. He was friends with Rex. He wasn't friends with Mata, I don't think. There's some sort of like maybe like almost a jealousy factor because it's another gnome kind of encroaching in onto his territory.
Mata was also being not too nice to Rex either.
No, yeah, you were kind of giving him.
There was a time
there was
where
a
it was
moment.
like two parties. It was Mata and Daffodil, and then the other
Correct.
three. So
So at the time, he was definitely more friends with Rex for sure. Jinx, because that was kind of the role play. Daffodil was an outlier, so they weren't really friends. Not necessarily. There was no
Right.
disdain there. There was a little bit of jealousy with Mata, but then that's changed now with the dynamics and as the party opens up and the characters begin to interact a little more outside of their two distinct groups.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I give Rex a lot of crap on this show, but I actually think probably, in my opinion, obviously, the turning point for that sort of dynamic was actually when he almost killed himself on the train, and then you guys sort of had to come together to. You guys had like a little weird intervention for him, and then everybody was like, "Oh yeah, okay, we do want to stay alive, and we do want to be together, and that sort of thing." So I think that was a weird sort of, again, eccentric moment for an eccentric group that kind of brought you guys together, which is weird, but whatever it takes, I guess.
Jordan roll for no reason is the most stressful.
Yes.
ever.
My heart
He
sinks.
does this in Middle Earth. He does
Well-
it here. Every time Jordan rolls a dice and the DM hasn't told him to, I'm just like,
So, and anybody who's in chat too, if you didn't see, because he was on here a couple weeks ago, and I had asked him specifically about that, and his description or explanation about that was like, is mind blowing. Like it is not as, because I've done it before on characters where it's been just, I don't know what I want to do. Let me just roll a die. But his is so like thought
Oh, no.
out
Yeah.
and part of a system that when he explained it to me, I was like, oh my God, like no
Makes
wonder
your
you
head
have to
hurt.
do that. Like, yeah, it really does. It's amazing.
yeah.
Very impressed by that system. I thought I really did think it was willy-nilly there for a little while. Okay, so let's see here. Sort of along the same lines, for Mata. Mata said that a couple times that she is slow to trust. So we've talked about this a bit, but what has she seen in this group that she wants to at least give it a chance? Maybe not fully open up yet, but at least
Yeah,
stick around
well,
long enough to try.
Definitely the fact that Frizz is a gnome is
Sure.
huge. Daffodil is also from a marginalized race community.
So is Jinx.
Jinx is also exactly. So that is one reason why she is
Oh.
much more willing to trust. And the only reason, and you can see she's been very wary around Rex. He's human, his age, he keeps talking about being a god. And you probably have picked up, Mata is very touchy when people start talking about the gods, which will explain part of her backstory when that comes out. But yeah, she's found other people that, and again, this is crucial to who she is finding she is more willing to trust people that have also come from communities that have been oppressed by this kingdom.
Right. I don't know why I didn't ever that. Yeah, I mean that's well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I never put that together. That almost all of you guys are sort of the like you
Yeah.
said, marginalized group of individuals. That's
Yeah.
very cool. Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. That checks out.
I had no idea that would be the trigger for Mata when we just kind of talked about some of Frizz's goals, humanitarian or nomitarian
Well,
goals.
yeah, when you mentioned the orphanage, she was just like,
yeah. That just it wasn't planned. It was just like kind of something that Frizz
yeah.
that's in his backstory. These things that he wants to work on, but it's kind of cool that it was a trigger to get you to open
Yeah,
up.
that's cool. Yeah, I never put that. I mean, it makes complete and total sense. I just never put that together that each of you guys are. And then Rex, of course, is the outcast. So that puts actually a lot of different things in perspective.
But because I think Mata's realized that because Frizz is obviously so protective of Rex,
Right.
that okay, he must be okay. And he's still a
gets a
kid
pass.
too. You know,
Right.
that's the other thing we forget. Like Rex is what, 18?
17, 18. somewhere
17,
around there,
18. So yeah, so
Mhm.
she's more willing to trust him than if it was like, a 50-year-old from,
yeah. Sure.
whatever.
And somebody within the whatever royal whatever.
Right, yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, this kind of goes back to probably why you didn't trust a lot of people, Chris. So how does Frizz feel about the group's seemingly constant shenanigans?
He hates it.
Yeah,
Frizz hates it. Some of the stuff
I got
as a
that.
player I laugh at. I see some of the antics of it and it makes me laugh. But Frizz, he's just like, let's get back on to business.
Yeah, and see that to me is tough. Because that's the way sort of Fagin is, right, too. So he's Mr. Unfun Wizard Man who can't do anything, and me is like Ronan. I was like, oh shit, that sounds fun. I want to get drunk and talk about the party. Like, but my
I want to go see
character-
fun holes.
Yeah, I want to do the fun whole thing. But then my character's like all mopey, whatever. So I'm like, fuck it, I guess I can't do that. So yeah, I think that would be very difficult. But yeah, the hell, it's a lot of fun to watch. So
It
I
is.
like, but I think you need that curmudgeon sort of voice of reason, right? So
Sure.
like you have Carrick on Realms, who's that guy. You have you on this show. You need that person that's like grounded and like, all right, we're never gonna get shit done if we just keep going into fun holes. So.
Yeah. And what's interesting is when I created Frizz, like when I came up with him, I thought he would be the silliest character out of everybody. And when we played our session 0, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, then I guess I will be the straight man.
He barely makes the top 5.
Yeah, no, not even.
Yeah, that's cool. I can see that though. I can see it's almost like he would have been those people 20 years earlier. You know what I mean? Like he's coming off of that. Like he's an aged man at this point. But at one point he would have
still change, you know, like I feel like
For
in 6 months, like, you know, when all of our backstories are really revealed a lot more, you know, because I know like a lot of what Mata does is it's a front, you know.
Sure.
So,
yeah, of course. And I mean Jinx has obviously alluded to some
Jinx,
of that as well.
when she starts opening up for sure. Yeah,
it's really kind of fun and wacky and that sort of thing, but anybody who's watched it can tell it's like this has the potential to be very dark later on. Like you know what I mean?
It does. It can.
So
a lot of shadows of shower
like
rules,
literally literally and figuratively very dark. So super interested to see where that goes. Okay, cool. I have no idea where I'm at. Oh, here we go. Okay. Well, you've already answered this a little bit, Lindsay, but we'll ask it. Maybe it'll shine light on something else. But how did Mata get involved in her shady dealings, and how does she view the work? Is it enjoyable, or does it just offer the best opportunity to get what she needs? Does she like being a rogue, or is this just something that she views as the easiest way to get what she needs done? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I absolutely can't answer that question.
I need to plead the 5th button on
I know. This is like my life. Like I literally have a sign over here. Don't ask me, NDA. Like my life is one big NDA. But no, I will say Mata isn't doing anything randomly. And she's not just like, I'm going to go steal this and blah, blah, blah. Like everything she's doing is leading up to something. And the reason she is doing what she is doing is based upon her life, based upon her history, her family's history. And whether she likes it or not, it's just who she is. Like she has vowed to do what needs to be done, and she will die trying to do it, you know, in order. God, I can't even say that because that's spoilers. Yeah. But it's not self-serve. Like she's not like, I want to be rich and I want to get this. Like that is not what I can say that. That's not what it is. She's not trying to just like make a, you know, good life for herself with coin and everything. Like it's very, very strategic.
All right. So that is actually one of the questions I had later on, which was about her, you know, she doesn't have the typical interest in wealth that some have, you know, when you play a rogue or bard or that sort of type of character, but she has shown interest in being successful, and she always makes sure that she gets her cut from Daffodil. And it makes me think now that what we were talking about before, where it's more of a you need to look like a rogue type character. It's more of a front versus being actually interested in the money. So
right.
Interesting.
She's a businesswoman. I mean, she's one of the most successful, well-known, you know, shop dealers in the area. So that is who everyone thinks she is. So of course that's what she presents as. Yeah.
Damn, it's gonna be interesting. In fact,
I kind of want to
see you in 6 months, Ronan. We can talk about it.
Yeah, right. Diane just put in the chat. She said, "Oh, it's getting dark. They have no idea." And it dawned on me actually that not only is the potential there for your guys' stories, but like, I would say, I don't know. I don't want to compare the different campaigns, but it is one of the darker settings that we've kind of experienced too. Like some of the things that you guys have encountered so far have been pretty dark. You guys have made it sort of lighter, you know what I mean? But like finding a circle of hands stuffed in the
Yeah,
ground
that
behind the
was
campfire is really fucking weird.
That's definitely in the
yeah.
realm of
But
the.
this, I mean, this is
No.
like, yeah, this is a testament to Diane, though. I mean, like the
Sure.
world that she built and the lore that she has, and the factions that she created.
Mhm.
Like, she literally made this world, and I was like, "Ooh, we get to play! Cool,
Yeah,
let's
for sure.
see what we can
Yeah,
do."
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But it is potentially it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Just say that. Okay, cool. So let's see. Oh, I kind of already asked this too. I'm good at my job. But I'll go ahead and ask it again just in case there's something different. So Frizz is particularly overprotective of Rex. He also has a strong desire to keep everyone together. Is this because of a family dynamic or something in Frizz's past that gives him this demeanor? So we've talked about that a little bit. So there is something there that we're not going to discuss yet that leads him to this sort of
there is. It's actually available on the wiki, in the Fable 42 wiki. You look at the backstory. It kind of hints at it. His want to find an apprentice. Somebody to carry on his own inventions, and there's potential in Rex to do that if he would just stop this whole god business and focus in on one craft instead of all these other crafts, because he's a prodigy, right? He can do all these things. So yeah, that's kind of a thing he's trying to pull out of him at some point. Can he take over the bottle top traditions?
Sure. Okay. And just sort of a follow-up to that, I guess, with his sort of backstory. So, and you may have, I don't think you've alluded to this on the show, but it may be in the backstory. So has Frizz worked for Rex's father his whole professional career, or did he train somewhere else, or how did he come into that sort of thing?
No, he ended up over there after some issues in Mythiol, the Gnomish Dwarvish area.
Issues.
Yeah, and he kind of moved over towards the area. Was not finding any success because his inventions would blow up on clients, and he ended up running out of money rather quickly and found refuge within Rex's father, who owns a kind of like a crafting metal workshop. And he was able to use his forge, borrow that as long as he watched over Rex.
How long had he been there before the start of the campaign?
There was nothing we worked out in terms of that. I haven't really delved into that, but I would imagine at least 3 months for sure.
Okay.
Maybe longer though. I don't know. That might be something that Jordan and I can talk about.
Cool.
It'll work out.
All right. Let's see here. All right. So, Linsay, so Mata has performed some business that isn't exactly on the up and up so far on the show. Would she consider bringing anyone from the group in on this as of right now, and who would that be?
Well, I mean, we did, a couple episodes ago, we saw her open up a little bit to Frizz.
Sure.
So I think there is definitely, and that's why I'm very excited to see how this group moves forward in the next couple months. Because I'll be very interested to see if maybe she can get people. I don't know. Again, I don't want to reveal too much, but it's hard. Like, she definitely, secrecy is paramount to what she's trying to do. So, but the other issue is she doesn't want to put other people's lives at risk, and anybody that knows about her, knows about what she's doing, could be in danger just by knowing that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this does all come out. Do they end up wanting to help her? But I think that's where she is right now, is, she kind of wanted to talk to Frizz, but then it's like, oh, but I don't want to put his life in danger and then other people's lives in danger. So I think that's kind of the impasse that she's at right now.
Right. So it's, you trust him, but also doing what you would like to do would put them in some sort of danger. Or
right.
like
Exactly.
Right. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me just break from my questions here real fast, because we got a couple that were in chat. One for Chris: is it hard keeping world lore and your homebrew campaign straight?
Like two separate games type of thing?
I guess so, yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think so, because when I come into a session as a DM, I have all my notes and of things that I want to portray right there.
Sure.
And I'm focusing on that, probably too focused in on that, so nothing other worlds don't really seep in too much. I suppose there is a little bit of 5e that dips into Adventures in Middle Earth at different points. I kind of mix together, but when I have my sessions written out, which by the way are just like thrown away almost immediately
Sure.
when we start playing.
Why did I do this?
Let's go fight a giant spider, guys.
I spent 3 hours on this. I don't know way. No, I usually do have things in there that I can tweak, and I have written down the exact things I need to worry about for that session. So it doesn't really, I've already kind of pre-planned the mix-ups, so to speak. Like, how does this work with 5e and how does this work with AIM?
Yeah, right. Okay.
And
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think like Solo and I are now starting on the lore of Ukador, and you know, it hasn't been too terrible, but separating between like my world that I'm building and the one I'm helping him build. It's just although I guess I have switched some names out when I'm writing, but other than that, like little things like that, little details, but not anything catastrophic. So I could see that for sure. Let's see if there's anything else from the chat.
I have just real quick.
Yeah.
My 2-year-old just pooped on the floor. So
Jeez. Okay, go for
excuse me
it.
one moment. Dog is trying to eat it.
Go for it. This is the single most professional show on the Fable 42 Network.
Welcome to
So
quarantine,
far.
folks. Welcome to quarantine. I mean, there
this
is
is so good.
no family work divide.
Yeah, listen, you know, it's
thing.
whatever. It's all the same.
It is.
I'm literally a stay-at-home teacher, bunch of other stuff.
Exactly. It's like
Perfect. Poo emergent. Point of order. Sorry.
oh Lord.
All right. Let me see if I got one for you, Lindsay.
Wow.
Let's see here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, I think this is a dead giveaway. But Mata has revealed her real name to Frizz. And I put in parentheses, which hasn't stopped my puns. But are there similar secrets of her past that she holds close to her chest? And are there any that, because of her background, could put the others at risk? So we've just answered some of that. But what I'd like to know is sort of along those lines is like, I would say a name change is a pretty big bombshell. Like, you don't have the name that you have been portraying. It makes you seem like almost someone else. Are there any more of those? You don't have to give me what they are, but are there any more of those type of bombshells that she's holding on to?
Her entire life. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Screw's is going to either really come together or really implode. one of the two.
Yeah, no, I mean, the name is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Stay tuned, guys.
I'm kind of curious to know, like, I feel like Frizz obviously has some stuff, and he has a whole life of like things that he's dealt with. But I would say as far as people that I am very curious to know, like, who they actually are is Mata and Jinx. Like, those two, just like, there's everybody else seems very on the face. They may just be better at hiding something, but it just seems like they are just who they are, and they're once or they're once. And Rex has come out and said it so many times now that it'd be hard to deny what he wants. But but Mata and Jinx just seem so like reserved with their information that I think those are going to be the biggest shockers out of the group. Okay, Chris, you good?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, the dog cleaned it up for me. It's all good. So, and the missus is in the shower. She's going to take care of the child. And my hands are wiped from this. And
it's the best show. I love this show. Okay, cool. Let's see. I don't even know where we're at now. Chris. Frizz has expressed a dislike over some of Rex's desires, the things that we have talked about.
Yeah.
Why hasn't he spoke more strongly about it? as far as his observation or his opposition to it as of yet?
That's a good question. Maybe I should be a little more forward and Frizz kind of put him in his place. I suppose he's given him room to how if I'm being honest, I think it was probably coming from more of a player perspective, a Frizz perspective, and allowing him to play Rex the way he wants to play Rex.
Sure.
Like I don't want to just shut him down every time he has something to say about his backstory as a player.
Right. Yeah, right.
So that I guess it comes from that as opposed to my character being like, nope, you can't talk about gods or anything like that all the time. I guess.
The thing I think about is like when I wanted to start wearing like saggy pants, and my dad like never said, he just let it happen because he knew it was a fad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get it out of your system.
Just get out of your system and go.
It's fine.
You'll be done with this baggy pants. This god business will be done. So, but that definitely could be a reason for it.
I see it.
Yeah.
So whatever. It'll be over in a month. It's fine. Let the boy dye his hair. All right, cool. All right. So got a couple questions for both of you guys.
Sure.
Well, I don't know if this is true anymore after this conversation, but what I have written down here is, how does it feel to be the only characters not afflicted by some horror movie style shit, like all the shadows following you and stuff? Because I think you guys are the only two without some sort of shadow association at this point.
I have other associations.
What is it?
I have other associations. They are
That's
very
true.
much of this world, though.
You
This
have shadowy people, but not
yes,
shadowy.
I have very
figures.
shadowy contacts and stuff.
right.
But they're very much
Sure.
corporeal. So
That's true. Yeah, you guys aren't, but you guys are pretty safe from the at least seemingly safe from the paranormal as of yet. It seems that you guys are the most grounded in reality currently.
That's true. That's very true.
We got Daffodil Warlock stuff going on, Jinx and whatever the wine bottle stuff.
Yeah.
With
her
that.
living addiction.
And then of course Rex and his wanting to do rituals and kill himself with nobody watching.
Right.
And honestly, I was watching the show back again, and well, I guess there were the hands. So that kind of definitively shows that there was some of that. But up until that point, up until the hands, like no one else had seen what Rex had witnessed or heard anything that he had heard.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, so it was like all on him, and I'm like, dude, is he going nuts? Like, is he having a break right now?
Oh yeah.
But I forgot there were the hands. So you guys did see that.
Yeah, it's like, was this all in his head?
Yeah, right. Because every time somebody woke up, they just stopped.
Right.
All right, whatever. Okay, cool. Okay, how do your characters, how do Mata and Frizz view Rex's approach to combat?
So how do the players or
Frizz and
characters?
Mata?
How the
Okay, just
character-
all right.
not us.
Okay.
Take it away, Chris.
Frizz, no, not even. And I meant to pull out a little bit more in the last episode. I wanted to throw out like a little jive at him, or like, really make him feel bad by throwing in Jinx's name, but I messed up the improv and how I wanted to say it. But essentially it was just like, hey, show off for Jinx.
Yeah, right.
Come on now. You've been like hounding over like this whole thing. This is a build-up of a relationship. Show what you got. Don't read a book. So Frizz hates it.
Yeah.
Show you got potential, boy. Show it, kind of thing.
That's true.
Yeah, and last week when Mata's like, I'm really hurt, guys. Anyone? And everyone's like, can't do anything except Rex in his book is like, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll heal you. And I'm like, yeah. So I think Mata's definitely she definitely still views Rex as like a liability to the party. It's like, oh, he's talking about all this God stuff. Yeah, he seems pretty smart, but at the end of the day, it's like Mata will go in and stab someone and
yeah, and
can you at least heal us? Can you do that? Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
Like Campbell does a really good job at like reminding you that he's 17.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's something that he thinks he's seeing a bigger picture, but he's really just ignoring the
And he's
direct
gonna die
threat in front of
before
him.
he sees that bigger picture.
Yeah, right.
Because he's
Yeah.
gonna be sitting under a tree reading, and
Yeah.
someone's gonna slit his throat.
It's gonna pass by.
Yes.
All right, cool.
17-year-old with a real God complex.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And this is kind of what we had talked about before, what you guys had talked about on the previous episode. So, do you guys, and we'll start with you, Lindsay, do you guys foresee your characters working together on this common cause, and how do you envision that sort of happening?
Oh, I think after 2 weeks ago, I think after that conversation, I think Mata definitely would like that, would be open to that, maybe, as long as she doesn't think anyone gets hurt. Yeah, I think she would definitely be, because for people who don't know, because obviously Diane hasn't revealed the entire lore of her world to the masses yet. The gnomes are a very interesting race of people within Chalgal, and there's a lot of history there. And I think that there's definitely potential for that. That would be amazing, because he
I think that'd be
makes
cool.
some pretty cool things that I know Mata said early on. She's like, man, I'd really like to sell your stuff sometimes. I could find buyers for them. But she's like,
Yeah, I just imagine like Mata becoming like Splinter Cell with all of Chris's, or with all of Frizz's gear,
with all
on
of
her.
his inventions.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would be
Can't say the
awesome.
thought hasn't crossed
Now
my
I kind of
mind.
want to take that idea and run with it.
Yes.
And just keep on throwing new things. Like, here's a new toy. Here's it's like almost.
And she's just stockpiling them.
Sounds amazing.
I can.
That's awesome.
Perfect. Okay, well, I think with that we are out of time. I don't want to run over into, because I know Chris got somewhere to be, so I don't want to take up into that time. But if you guys want to do real quick, Lindsay, you want to do your like little outro social thing again?
Oh yeah. So you guys watching, you know where to find me. Find me, Lindsay Rousseau, on all the social medias. Find me in Discord. Tune in Mondays, every other Sundays, and Wednesdays.
Perfect.
Yep.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm on Discord, and I run the Adventures of Middle Earth. You can see me DMing, lore mastering every other Sunday. Next one's going to be January 3rd. And then, of course, every Monday, Legends of Shalgul.
Perfect. And I am Ronan Fawks, and happy holidays. And we will see you not next Friday, but the Friday after that. See you guys.
Bye.